Y'all are amazing. This is not God. It's just a hot mic moment. Fear not. I'll be there in a minute. Yo! How's everybody doing today? Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing well. Mal Sushi, welcome in. Drop your links in Discord. There's a channel called Public Feedback. Drop it there. Thank you for the hype train, folks. Kwame's here. Who else is here? You guys are freaking amazing. Saffron, good afternoon to you, sir. Kwame, thank you for the sub. I appreciate you. Big love, you sexy beast. Mal Sushi, I don't recognize the name. Welcome in if it's your first time. Welcome in. Visor, yo. Thank you for the well wishes, homie. Respect the gazelle. I think people missed Feedback Friday. Screw COVID. That's all I gotta say. Paul, thank you so much for your sub. 30 months. Dude, 30-month streak? Seriously? Greetings from windy Maryland, huh? Well, I hope all is well over there. Loose sighting on the house on in a windstorm? That's not good. Hope you fare all right. I should turn this stuff down. So you guys can actually hear me. Who else is here? Saf is saying I don't have any tunes to share at the moment, but I should be sending one over in the next stream. No worries. Mal Sushi, so the way this works is you drop a track in the public feedback channel on the Discord. And when it's your turn, we listen to it. I take notes while we listen to it in its entirety, as long as it's not something like intentionally offensive or full of bigoted statements or something. Anyway, we listen to all your stuff. We give you really good feedback. And I don't tell you to rewrite your songs or anything. We talk about it from a creative and technical standpoint. I'm not here to tell you what you should make or how you should make it, just how to make it better. And actually get it up into places. So, Equatorial Scope, welcome in. Happy Friday. Kwame, how are those chords? Martin is here. Hello, good sir. How are you? Javar, welcome in. Cardio! Liv is in the house. Everybody follow Cardio Party. Go watch their streams. It's amazing. I missed you guys too. I missed you too, Visor. I missed all of you guys. I was out for a couple of weeks. But COVID does not win. I'm feeling so much less COVID-ish now. I've got, I don't know, between 80 and 90% of my energy back. I've got basically no symptoms, but I do have a couple of after effects. I still have the freaking tinnitus over here on this side and a splitting headache on this side. Haven't been able to beat those. Beat everything else, though. Yeah, COVID does suck, right, Kwame? Very blustery in the mid-Atlantic today, huh? It's cold here too, you guys. It's cold and wet today. It's dark and it's gray. It's a good day to stay inside and listen to some music. Whoa, Roku and Liv have been playing D&D? Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Martin's going to join. Oh, this is fantastic. Kwame's working on his 2-5-1 progression. Tritone substitutions, leading tones. Nice, nice, nice. It's good to catch up with everyone here. Oh, yeah, Mal Sushi, you know, I've been doing this for a really, really long time, and screw those other cats. I don't know why they're there doing it, but it's not for the same reasons I am. That's all I got to say. Cardio, you can feel free to share those tricks, those theory tricks. All right, so let's dip into public feedback, and we did some feedback over the last couple of streams too, try to kind of catch up with you guys and get through your work in progress queues. We're going to pick up from today, fresh. If you posted something previously, like from a couple weeks ago, and we didn't get to it because I wasn't here, because I was like, meh, then comment on that. Like, scroll up, find it, comment on it. So, like, it pops up into the bottom of the feed here. Get to it. Like Visor did. Visor has one right here. So. Great. All right. Screw those other FU cats. Oh, you guys are great. All right, let's turn off the noise in the background and get right to it, because I feel like we need to just listen to a bunch of stuff. What is this? Choo-choo. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the hype train. Appreciate you. All right, let's pull up all of our appropriate windows here. If you want your feedback pasted into a thread in the Discord, all you have to do is ask. Visor, we're going to start with you. For those keeping up at home and want to make weird noise like this, this is an ensemble called... which one is... I don't remember now. Well, isn't that funny? Yeah, honestly don't remember which one. So that doesn't really help you, but I'm running it through some molecular and some multiple instances of Portal and whatnot. When I think of the name, I'll let you guys know. I still have a bit of the COVID brain. Visor. This is the post he originally posted, or the track he originally posted on the 17th. So here we go. It's called Stereo Mastered. Oh, you got like a thread going here with tram ties. Yo, Alex, welcome in. Yo, Alexander, welcome in. How was your stream? Thank you for the raid. All right, that's good, dude. You got a lot of energy packed into this one. Um, just right off the bat, those hits and the saturation that you've got on them really, really hit. It was good. Really like the upward expansion on this. Doesn't really feel like there's a whole lot of downward compression on the mix, which is really nice because those classic synth sounds really like to ring out. Vocals are super clean and clear, but I do feel like they need to sit on top of the mix just a little bit more with a little bit more definition and edge. There's a fair bit of competition with mid-high stuff in the mix and kind of in the upper like noisy range as well. So a little bit more edge on the sides of her vocals, I think, would help. The small subtle overdrive, something really clear. Target 7K hertz or so, and add 1.5 to 3 dB drive, and then compensate for the loudness. You'll hear an audible jump in presence. Um, want more separation between mid-high elements in here, and I think that some of this is just straight EQ. Some of it is a little bit of panning, and some of it is actually the processing. So really quick, just it sounds like you're already managing all the low end stuff in your reverb channels really well, but the high end, don't be afraid to cut that off on some of those sounds because when you have a buildup of high frequencies, it can make it harder for each one of the sounds to be heard individually while they're all popping off. Um, but you've got good energy throughout, so by and large, your low end management is there. The sub frequencies are just a little bit low, like you could bring them up. There were parts where I could feel it um, more than I could hear it. So I know that it was there. So after you roll it up, you can kind of A/B testing, turning up the sub in a couple of spots just for like emotional impact. Da, 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 da. Already talked about covering out some highs. To the unexpected scream in there. I didn't put timestamps on these, but like 2/3 the way through, it was very unexpected. Very cool. Okay, so the other thing that I would toss out here is that it sounds like some of the stuff, the processing, like the distortion and stuff, is being applied directly, all in series, and some of it could be applied in parallel, which would give you a lot of the surface texture which you desire in a full mix like this, but not like the deep penetration of distortion, if that makes sense, right? You're just kind of like sprinkling the texture on top of a sound versus embedding it in the heart and soul of the sound. And if you have all of, or not all of, but a lot of different elements heavily saturated like this or distorted, then it becomes harder to discern or hear clearly the different instruments when they're all popping off at the same time in the mix. So when you can move some of those over to parallel, A, B, compare them. That means just listen to what it sounded like before and listen to what it sounds like now and just be really honest with yourself. Can you get away with the parallel stuff, right? Is it adding the same kind of grit and everything? Yet is a little bit easier on the mix. And if the answer is yes, then move forward with that because I think it would probably sound good. I think that's it on this one, homie. It's solid. You've got a ton of energy packed in. It's really good. All right, so that is in a thread. And who came in? Oh, Andrew came in. Thank you for the raid, dude. How's your stream? Are you still here? How the hell are you? Happy Friday. Oh, and Martin says a tip: don't add the vocal in the outro. DJ is gonna have a hard time mixing that. Javar says reminded me a lot of Seabound in a good way. Abstricted one, welcome in. How are you, homie? All right, so scrolling back down to Todayland. Yeah, Foxmans is here. Let's see what Foxy's up to. Dopamine, welcome in. Happy Friday to you, homie. You're doing well out there. Good to see everybody in here today. Definitely missed the feedback Fridays while I was out. All right, this one's called I Walk Away. Starting out with some edgy stuff this morning. Dude, okay, that was a journey. Some really good stuff, really good vocal delivery in this one, dude. It'd be interesting to hear what some really subtle delay work would sound like on that guitar in the intro. Not like persistent delay, but just like tiny little hints of it, like just bringing it up to like 20% mix and then bringing it back out, doing it in a couple of spots so you get just like a few little echoes kind of. Nice work bringing in the vocals. There are a couple of spots though with transitions where I feel like it would be cool to hear a transition effect in there, and nothing big and sound designy, just something small, transparent, subtle, something to help kind of lift and push. They could all be noise based. They can all be filtered, and they can all be low in volume. Just something to kind of introduce more, um, I guess, change over time in energy at those points. Um, 50 seconds in, the backing lower vocal is cool, but I think it can come up a touch just in general, and that's throughout the track whenever it's there, and also separate from the main vocal in the mid channel with a little bit of panning. So take it off axis just a little bit. And then I also bring up the point that the two vocal tracks also feel like they're very much just on top of one another. So staggering the backing vocal just a bit more so it pokes out just a bit more, I think would feel good. And then also that would benefit the kind of choral arrangement that you have towards the end. The kick, the drums in general, and not speaking to the hat, because I think the hat is actually kind of already there at this level, although it is a little too far out to the side for me. I think it could come in just a little bit. And then saturate the rest of the drum kit. When the toms start to ring, you know you're kind of there. Again, really fantastic vocal delivery throughout here. Um, Oh, at 510, when you've got the kind of choral effect, the multi-vocal layering going on, it's very cool. It'd be kind of fun to like slowly introduce like a pitch shift delay with feedback unit in it, right? Like a shimmer kind of a thing, right? Um, but set the target pitch up 1/5 or something like that, or a third maybe, right? Add a little like dramatic tension to the kind of that the atmosphere around the vocals. It might sound kind of cool there. Uh 6 minutes in, and it kind of hit me again. So I had felt this before in the mix, but mostly when we were kind of zoomed in on the vocal and there wasn't as busy a mix. The vocal did seem a little bit too distorted. Triphosphate, welcome in. Uh, and it's again kind of going back to the feedback on the last track from Visor. See if you can get away with using surface texture instead of just straight up processing the entirety of the sound, and see um, how it compares. Oftentimes, it will perform better with vocals because you allow the original integrity of the entire vocal performance to persist, right? And you're simply bringing in the saturation. You're bringing in that texture to the degree that you want it because you can EQ it, and it's completely separate, just like a reverb would be, right? Um, Something to explore there. Well, thank you so much, Triphosphate. Um, Yeah, the loves is there. So anyway, that's what I got for you on this one, Voxy. I'll stick this one into a thread for you too, just because I was a little wordy in my writing. Hope it helps, dude. Hope it vibes with you. Loves you. Moonwand, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Quirky, I see you. How you doing? Scruffy Rico's here, and Rich has just been like all he does is make great stuff. I'm gonna say he's been on a tear, but I don't know if it's really fair to say that if all you do is make really good stuff. All right, this one's called Portal. He says, okay, going to share a couple of tracks, so I have more, but feel free to do just one, unless you got the time. These both need work, part of an additional 5-track EP I'm messing with. Both need work, but hey. So just so everyone else knows, as if you have a couple that you want feedback on, I'm totally fine with doing it. If we've got the time, I'll listen to one and then scroll back after we get through the other tracks. So let's kick it off with Portal. I like this. I like this art here. It's a fun concept. Rod Noise, welcome in. Happy Friday. CBD, welcome in. Happy Friday. Rich, there's still something on this kick. Rich, this is fantastic. Good on you for fighting the temptation to make the palette any bigger. Because you had all the right players in there. It was really, really nice. Like such a classic and fresh sound all at the same time. And different for you. I'm really digging it. Loving the just the openness, the kind of uplifting, expansive, kind of heavenly vibes throughout. Very nice. Good use of the pitch shift delay as we were just speaking of in the last track. Yeah, I bet you were tempted, right? I mean, you hear a sound, a thing like this, and like your mind is just kind of like firing off with all these other possibilities. But this is, I mean, it's all you need. This is great. Um, yeah, just really lovely, um, atmosphere and open environment. Absolutely. All right, so the kick. It was funny because I'm like, oh, I want more from the kick, and then kicks in full. But I think it's just missing just a tiny bit of top end on it. It feels a little too thick down low. But if it was in better balance, then I think the low would feel fine. So I don't think it's a matter of it being bloated or anything. I think it's just slightly out of balance is all. The scales are just slightly tipped. Yeah, and I don't really want to tell you to do anything else on this. Honestly, I want to see where you take this. And I know I've said that on a couple of years recently, but really, I mean, your management of frequencies and the delivery of all of your notes, your palette's great, and the position of everything is great. So, um, like my job here is done as a technical feedback guy. But my job as a fan is like just beginning because I want to see where this goes. I'm also very curious as to what the approach with the mastering is going to be. I'm feeling like a couple layers of nice like tube satch on the way out. Asator, welcome in, homie. How are you? Happy Friday. And Ben is here too. It's like all of a sudden a little pure fan moment. Yeah, really, really good stuff, Rich. All right, so who's in the D&D circle? Who all is playing right now in these quests, in these campaigns? Oh, look at this. Look at the love in the chat. Look at this. Look at this. And we will absolutely swoop back if we can and hit this second one. But in the meantime, we're going to move on to Jafar. Jafar, how the hell are you today, man? Actually, there is something that I would say. There actually is one thing that I would say on this one, Rich, and that is that if there was one thing it would be fun to hear you explore is the modulation depth range. Like there's a lot of things that people consider automating in their arrangements, but oftentimes it's a bit more of like a utilitarian or abstract mindset, right? You're either doing something really intentional or you're trying to find something, right? But it would be cool to see you automate the depth of some of your modulation assignments in this last one. Think, think like Blade Runner era Vangelis or that ilk. There's a couple of points in a lot of the more moving pieces where you will hear more of the sound impacted by all the change that's occurring than any of the other spots, right? Um, so if you're looking for a way to kind of find valley floors and peaks in a slightly different way, I think that'd be a fun way to do it in this one. Javar has one here called "Floating Through the Lyre Crescent." This is fantastic art. Is this Midjourney? And this is fantastic. Look at this, you guys. I'll zoom in a little bit. Look at this. It looks wow, it almost looks like a lino print. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So Javar is saying an exercise using only a harp library from Spitfire as the base audio. She was always nervous navigating this region of space. Radiation from the pulse engines were known to set off sympathetic vibrations from something in the surrounding asteroids. It often sounded like hundreds of plucked strings, hence the name of the region, the Lyre Crescent. Unfortunately, it could drive you mad if you didn't adjust the psychoacoustic dampeners correctly. Whoever said you can't hear things in space because the vacuum was obviously referring to a very limited spectrum. We should be reading this while this plays, really. Yeah, this is important. You can like I'm just like frozen here, huh? Only on stream, triphosphate. Never in real life, but on stream I do get it from time to time, and I've never seen it before. Really. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is just really, really pleasing in so many ways. Some of the things kind of run contrary to what we're used to, and that's I think part of why I like it so much. This is really fun. I love how you allow yourself to just go, man. Seriously. I mean, from one thing to the next. You and Zamertz, both, just kind of getting inspired by one simple sound and then building around it. It's great. Love what you guys do. This is, Yeah, it's got kind of like a free floating and a methodical thing happening all at once. Like the space theme is super solid. I'm digging it. It really vibes with me. Started out as a track for Emily Hopkins. Peep, she does stuff with harp and guitar pedals. Cool. Martin, I love kalimba. Oh man, I actually got Nico a new kalimba for Christmas, and it is like so flippin' lovely. Like I'll bring it in here for one of the streams next week or something. It's just such a lovely one. Um, oh, Ricky is here, and he's linking new music in the chat. This is good. This is good for all of us. Got you, Ricky. All right, let's see who's up next. It's Kwame. Oh man, age of like contemplation, weather. Any updates on the podcast on the audio play stuff, Javar? Oh, whoa, hey, Quirky's at attention here. Javar, this thing really made up a different kind of mood in myself, really. This is awesome. Life just went serious for a moment. Yeah, yeah, we will sample the kalimba. If I'm gonna bring the kalimba into this room during a live stream, it's getting sampled, right? Paul, welcome back. I hope the sides of your house are still there. Yeah, always excited to hear the new Kwame. Let's hit start here. Still struggling with voice actors. Focusing on getting the album now, the EP done first. Well, again, if you need any help, you holler. Oh, Man, this is so good. This is so good. This is so good. Kwame, what happened? I mean, all of your stuff is so good, but this one has a um this one doesn't feel like you felt as though you needed to try as hard. Feels like the delivery of all of it was fairly organic. It doesn't feel massaged. You know what I'm saying? Um, it definitely has a story. Definitely. It could actually just breathe life to any story, really. You know, like this right here. Kwame, and I know I've said this before. Um, so my apologies if I come across as a broken record, but it has a great deal of value in the licensing world. This one does. It has um, every single one of the checkboxes marked. It is high quality, it is emotive, yet it is supportive and withdrawn. And these are all of the things that you really want in something that's going to bring a scene to life, right? So everything that you're seeing is bigger than what you're hearing, but it's all made bigger because of what you're hearing. You know what I'm saying? This is it. So, um, yeah, it is. It is record label ready, Martin. There are several of the things that Kwame has brought round that like we've tossed feedback at him, like and suggestions back at him, and also said, but this could also just be released right now. It is. This is the year, you guys. This is the year where, and it's not because I'm like, you know, running low on patience or anything. It just, I think this is the year that I push all of you into making some freaking money from your music um, in the right ways. Because all y'all have upped your game to the point where it's like, this is beyond listening pleasure. This has a greater value. And, you know, to be quite frank, people that listen to your music don't pay you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get rich with people listening to your music. It just doesn't happen, really. People using your music now. Now you can make a really good living doing that. Um, and yes, I know there are people that get paid well. Just have people listen to their stuff. But it's like the smallest percentage of anything. So I think this is the year. I think this is the year where I just start pushing all y'all. You know what? Let's dedicate some streams to it. Let's dedicate some streams to it. We'll look at the different platforms. We'll talk about the differences and what it can actually mean to you in regards to your ability to earn and grow and sustain yourself over time and whatnot. But I think this is oh, sorry, I just got a little sidetracked because I looked up and Quirky says, dude, my overall streams is already on 1.7 million. Build new talents here. Quirky, that's what we do. You know, you go back and you listen to the stuff from what, 6 months ago, 12 months ago? At what point do you start doing like this? Like, oh gosh, it was like that? But that's like some stuff to be really super proud of right there. But you guys, man, there are so many of you that should just be doing this. Hey, Martin. Martin, dude. Look at this. Wame. Some love right there. Paul says, let's create a mythical artist genre or generate content, get deals, time on the Carson show, tour dates, right? Javar says it would be interesting to hear this track if you added a reverb to the output and slowly raised the mix to 100% over like a minute. Yeah. 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 Kwame, thank you. That's all I got to say, homie. Just thank you. Just really, really, really lovely palette. Your delivery of chords is nice, but your use of chords is even better. You've you've outdone yourself, sir. Cardio. Liv, what are you up to? How are you? How's school? How are you? Let's listen. This one's called Falling Away. Um, Sorry about the popcorn, Javar. I ate it. Fuck, Liv. Liv, I love you. You're amazing. Um, what were you watching? I have I got questions. I got questions. Yeah, you mentioned to me the other day that you wrote something that was just orchestral and that you had never done that before, and this is what it was. This is, and you scored to the movie in your mind. We have to have a conversation, Liv. All right, so I was just saying we're gonna dedicate some streams to living, right? Like you guys making some money from your music and stuff, and I can't share any details about what it is, but there will be some new stuff being introduced by us as we get closer to NAM and CES and stuff, which is in April. So we're just like 70 days away at this point. Um, and it'll take a little bit of time for it to all like come online and be available for everyone. But there will be some opportunities for people that have not really been there before in regards to getting content like this in front of people who actually use content like this. Um, I'm always fighting to find new ways to get new tools or eliminate middlemen to make all of this better. But this is Liv. This is you special. You made something really awesome here, and you weren't even looking at a screen. So I hope when that time comes, you jump on it. I really do. This is so good. I'm not going to tell you anything about this. I'm not going to say a damn thing. This was so good. I refuse to. I'm not going to say anything. But bloody hell, really, seriously, Liv. Paul says the tools make the track. Play with orchestral libraries, and this happens. Jvar says it's the cue for all the uh, expository is establishing material at the beginning of a Netflix series like Lock and Key or other mythical series. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, cardio. This is the big unspoken secret of um, scoring and like producing for screen specifically. We've all been studying our whole lives for it. Every time we turn something on, we're in school. You know what I'm saying? Like we know what needs to happen. Yeah, you just need some actual cues to score. Yeah, that's it. Well, you're gonna have a chance because when we start up the other parallel stream, I think I might be doing them on the same days: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, OhmLab, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Audio Design Desk. Just do like OhmLab in the morning, Audio Design Desk at night, maybe, or in the afternoon. Anyway, but there will be ongoing chances for everyone to practice doing redesigns, right? Learn how to score a scene and learn how to write cues that make sense. QTube, yep. Yeah, this is the other thing is that you don't need like pre-existing cinematic content or like gameplay or whatever to score to. It's actually a really good challenge to use just mundane footage, like just people walking around kind of thing, right? And if you can evoke something, if you can trigger things in people, if you can alter the mood, um, then you know you're doing it right. Um, so sometimes it's better not to have something super specific. to be scoring. Sometimes it's fun just to kind of flex your muscles a bit. Now, sushi. Let's do this. It took us a little bit to get here, but we're here. Lupo R6, welcome in. Happy Friday. This is good. Now, Sushi, this is good. This is a solid one. These keys are awesome. Your EQ work on them is awesome. I feel like the keys need to come up just a little bit, and the kick needs to come down just a little bit. And I think it'd be a bit more balanced. That's one of the only things that I have a gripe about. The glide synth could be a little bit more present in the mix. So if you put just a subtle bit of transit or saturation on it, I think it would help it stand out just a little bit. 155. That the transition effect that's there and your transition, they're both ace. It'd be cool if you doubled up on that transition, listen back to it and see if you like it better. It could just be something fluttery, double the length of the little noise rise that you've got in there right now, half the volume. So it's almost this kind of, people would imagine, like wonder if they're imagining it almost, right? Until it's actually fully there. It's good. It's good. There's really not anything that you have to attend to in this. You could release this right now. But those are a couple of things you can do. I really like the rumble, like the slap back and the width of the kick in there. It adds so much. So much. Queen Music. Welcome in. Happy Friday. I think that's what I have for you. Oh, Sushi. I think that's it. Martin, you are up. This one, super early rough demo. Worked on it a couple of hours only. Woo! Respect the gazelle. Aquin Music, thank you so much. This was one of your first synths, Mal Sushi? That's awesome. That's awesome. Aquin doing so much better. So much less COVID feelings in me at this point. All right, so Martin is here saying worked on it a couple of hours only, debating if I should finish it. Basically, just an idea sketch here. All right, let's check this out. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Respect the gazelle. Thank you, Will. Everybody follow Zev Music in the chat. Love you, homie. Another hype train is close. What are you guys doing? I'll look away for a second. Come on. Yeah, Martin, finish this one, dude. I can hear the vocals already. I can definitely hear you like twisting up some really fun stuff formant wise on that on the ARP as it grows in the midsection there. Definitely room for top line vocal stuff. Love the little wiggle on that synth in the beginning. This is great, dude. Mm. Mm. Yeah, man. Yeah. Another thing that I was kind of hearing in my head was like a doubling effect of some stuff. So kind of having a shadow synth just right behind one of the other synths with a similar but obviously different timbre, um, and have it like just chasing it like a little sibling. kind of a fun thing to explore. A Moog monster? Tell me more. Yeah. Blackberry, yeah, you're on the left coast too, right? Will left he was a left coast guy, and now he's out on the east coast, out visiting. All right, you're just here for the weekend. I got Nico's big birthday party tomorrow, and uh, we do have to connect though. All right, let's check who's next. Alex is next. This is fantastic. This is great news. This one is called Leave Me.
Are you gonna leave me just like that? I don't know what I did to you. Girl, I know that I've lied in the past, and I know that you think that I'm toxic, but I know that you've been hanging out with him, and I know that there's no going back. Put on a show and make others watch you glow, watch you glow, yeah, watch you glow. It's something that I've never ever mentioned. You do it all for the attention. Oh, you were the one that was toxic all of this time. I know that I'm singing this song deep in my prime, and you think that I've been doing fine. In my head you're stuck 'cause you're not mine. How you gon' just leave me like that? I don't know what I did to deserve this. It's something that I never mentioned before. I know you did it all for attention. I let you go. All that you wanna do is put on a show and make others watch you grow, watch you glow, yeah, watch you grow.
Dude, Alex, this is great. Like from top to bottom, this is great. Hold on a second. Your frequency control is super tight. Your vocals are tight. Like you have absolutely nailed it. Not like you had a whole big distance to grow to get to this point, because your stuff has always been pretty tight. But this is really, really solid, man. Like this is a very good production quality. And you're doing all of this yourself, right? And this is good. This is good. I have no major qualms with this one. None. Like you've got all the things in all the right places. It's good stuff. Really, really, really appreciate the presence of the vocals. Very clear. Chaotic Berserker, of course, sound design projects are eligible for feedback. Don't forget, if you are currently subbed to the channel, you get free sound packs every month on Discord, of all places. And due to COVID and various other things keeping me incredibly busy over the last month, I have not updated this month's free sound pack for you guys. So I have a deal for you. Everybody that hasn't downloaded them yet, go download the two sound packs that are in the subscriber rewards channel in the Discord. That's the first thing you do. If you don't see that channel and you are subscribed to the Twitch channel, it's probably because you have not connected your synced up your Twitch and Discord profiles. And when you do, then you'll see it. Granted access. There's about 500 awesome dialogue samples from a couple of cult classic films in there that you can use freely in your productions. And we'll get another pack added soon. But for those who have been with us for years and you would like to have more sounds, and I haven't given you any sounds for the last month, hit me up and let me know what you want from the store. Rich, I think Alex is doing all of his own stuff, if I remember correctly. Yo, Central, how are you? Good evening. Hope you're doing well, dude. And happy Friday. Kitty Fellaini. Happy Friday, it is your turn. Respect the gazelle. Thank you so much, Martin. I appreciate you. Oh, and for those who are wondering, the movies the dialogue samples come from, one is Santa Conquers the Martians, which is fantastic, and number two, Reefer Madness. The upcoming pack, which we just did our watch party at last month. Oh my goodness, Liv. Another hype train is close. What are you guys doing? We're trying to be productive here. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyway, we had our watch party last week. Cult classic film this time around was Gas. We got a lot of markers. I need to go through and chop and export still. But even more awesome cult classic dialogue samples coming your way. Oh, Alex, dude. Well, what I was saying is it sounded freaking ace, dude. You've reached the point, man. And we had questions. Are you doing everything yourself? Like, was the master yours? I know, Paul. I know. I have started, but I have not come anywhere close to completing it, and I will soon. I hope to have it to you guys next week. But yeah, Alex, your stuff is great. Like, your vocals were super tight. The frequency control on all of your mixdown was super, super tight. Levels, all of it, super polished, very good. You had no technical faults. It was awesome. It was great. We said kudos and you're awesome a bunch of times. That's what you missed. All right, Kitty Fellaini. This one's called Dance Track, V2. Everybody who just got a subscription, sync your account. Grab your free sound packs. Okay, okay, it's not just the key change, it's the little things. You hear those little pitch bends and the little squiggly stuff in there too. This is good. There's some attention to detail in this. The luffs are a little hot. It's a little loud. Um, so you can back off that limiting at the end. I enjoyed the yo sample. That was nice. Snap and, or snare and clap, not snap and clare. Snare and clap can both use some saturation. I think they're just a little bit on the flat side compared to the hype and energy of the synths. So I think they need just a little bit more edge. The ARP in the sides can use a little definition. So I would roll off some of the lower frequencies at just a touch of subtle saturation. The other thing, make sure you're EQing all of the reverb channels in your project. The other thing is that there is so much excitement in different areas. Don't be afraid to roll off high frequencies the same way you do low frequencies in your reverb and in your other time-based effects like delay. And just in EQ work in general, you could soften the top of some of these synths here and there, and then that leaves you a little bit of option. You can open it up for dramatic effect at other points in your mix, or you can slowly modulate it over time for change over time interest. It just kind of gives you one more thing that you can reach and play with. But there are a couple of things in the mix where I would definitely encourage you to A/B test, kind of rolling off a little bit more of the top and see what you think. Chaotic Berserker says solid and quality. Everyone was bopping to this one, by the way. Kitty Filani. Everybody. We've still got some really good stuff here. So we are moving on to dopamine. And this one's called Seishun Complex. Here we go. One, two, three. All right, dopamine. This was really fun, really fun. The luffs are a bit hot. Those synth stabs at the end, they were a little brutal on the loudness side. I'd bring those down. Other than that, it's mostly subtle stuff. Sub frequencies can be rolled up a little bit. They sound a little low to me. Some of them are touching down towards 30, and I would say roll the cutoff up on those just straight 50 hertz. More separation between elements. I know you got a really busy palette. But if we had more separation between elements, both in frequency and in pan position, and now you can also add to that like process layering. Okay, so let's just walk through that really quickly. One, some elements could have, for instance, some mid-range frequencies carved out, and another one that is in close proximity, like timbre and frequency wise to that one, could have some of the low frequencies attenuated and maybe a little bit of those mids accented, and then the next one maybe the highs are attenuated and the mids are attenuated. It's a little bit more low end focus or whatever, but so a little bit more EQ work to force separation between elements, and then of course try to find a way to offset the players that are popping off at the same time in the timeline. Try to put them opposite one another. And the more you can do that, the more our brain is able to catch the rapid fire delivery of the different elements, right? Every once in a while, you're hearing a couple things blasting right down the middle or a couple things popping off at the same time on the right. If you stagger those, not just in panning, but now also in timing, when you do create that separation in the stereo field, it's going to behoove you, because now not only will they kind of poke around each other, you can hear them a bit better in the mix, but they'll be more pronounced in their stereo position too. Okay, at 45 seconds, love the transition there. It'd be cool to hear a little twist in the transition effect itself, like if it. And I know it's very rapid fire, but as you're reaching the peak, right before the peak, what if it had like two really short form stutters, like 30-second notes, like just like silence, like or something like that. It wouldn't have to be anything over the top. There's already quite busy. Just couldn't help but notice that the transition effect was just like whoosh. 110, a video game sound effect there at the transition, at the point of transition, I think would be really cool. As I said before, the synth stabs around 129 are a bit brutal and bring them down. In general, here's something that you can play with, if not for this track specifically, for future tracks, because it is a fun thing to do. Experiment with layering video game effects like you would Foley in like your drums and stuff, and see what happens. Sometimes I will straight up swap out chiptune stuff instead of perks, just because of games. That's all. All right, let's see what folks are saying here. Javar says, yep, massive energy here. Faster, says Central One. This is great. This is great. People are loving the energy. This is fun. I love chiptune too. It's so good. It's so good. Let's go. You're up. This one's called Past Lives. Oh man, why is it always autocorrecting your name? All right, let's do this. Past Lives. Whoa, this image. That's cool. I like the superimposing thing. Nice.
How could I ever see a fight coming in trees that I ever green? Thinking that you'll agree. We should start running and figure out what we need. Peace in our time, gonna make some enemies. Thought that you would pass by me, that you gaslight, free from all your past lives. Please just ask why, conceded no need to fight me. Just turning right, can't you see? Our justice lost this when we first started. Feel the cost of my life. You wouldn't wanna give me a chance to do right. My heart, you cannot make a mess. Just finding a way to it. I know there's lots of moments we could talk about, but it's shame you brought up. It's feeling all the worst thoughts. Feel like I'm tossed in love, trying to push and shove. Can't go down further, already underground. I can take a lot from what you taught me. Should've gave the plot to people who box me in. Try to take the spot, but I got cold feet. I'm feeling weak. Could never talk the way you block our ways. Could never talk the way have to walk fucking clouded. Gotta start some my surroundings. Needle drop, there's still no sun, it's weird. Fucking me, I like it's never clear now. Care on my start running with no pain. All the rest of fighting got no bait. I'ma shift the light and change the scene for better. Get my green, my bread. Gotta lean to center myself. Cause just as lost as when we first started. Feel the cost of my life. You wouldn't wanna give me a chance to do right. My heart hurting. You cannot make a mess. Just find a way to it. I know there's lots of moments we could talk about, but it's shit you brought up. It's feeling all the worst thoughts. Feel like I'm lost in love. Trying to push and shove. Can't go down further. Already underground.
Really like the dynamic shift there at the end. This is great, dude. This is great. It just you continue to just climb. This is great. Really good vocal processing. Really good vocal recording. Okay, so the understated filtered kick effect in the beginning, it's fine, except you've got the resonance up on the filter, right? So what it's doing is it's boosting all of those sub frequencies. So now we're feeling the sub kick or hit before we actually really hear the kick. And then by the time that we do hear the kick, we're a little bit caught up, I think, on the fact that we're feeling it, and then like our mind is in the wrong place. So here's two things. One, make sure that you've rolled up sub frequencies on the kick so you don't have a whole lot to bloat in the first place. The second is when you're making filter sweeps and you're using resonance, just make sure to automate the resonance up after it passes the big bulky bass frequencies, right? So start bringing it up at like 150 or something instead of leaving it where it is and only automating the cutoff knob, right? Automate both. And then that way it really starts to open up. You get a little bit more funk factor out of your resonance anyway. So the other thing I would mention is that the guitar, I love the panning that you've got on there. But maybe if you just make the center of like offset it and also pan it with your trim. I think that would probably help in regards to it peeking through the mix in all the right places and the right times and not competing with the stuff in the middle and all that. It's good. It's good. Yeah, everyone is liking this one. Javar was not expecting the glitchy. Central says some of the passing chords on the piano and the drop are a bit dissonant sounding. Yeah, Ross got the vocal mixing on point. Yes, absolutely. This is another really solid entry, dude. Really good stuff. Still hearing improvements too. Quirk. Is this another one? Is this another one off the new album? Congrats on surpassing 1.7 million streams on it, by the way. For those who have not tuned in regularly to the stream, just in general, over the past, I don't know, what you say, Quirky, like in the past year, Quirky's gone from bringing in some pretty loud, I'm not going to say like obnoxious or anything because it was good stuff, but pretty loud and rumbly, just not honed, right? Really good ideas, but it didn't have the whole production toolkit on lock. And now, really solid, has absolutely carved out a little spot for himself with a signature sound in the funk scene. So, definitely check out his stuff. He's just dropped a new album, or is about to. If you have new stuff being released, you can spam the Discord. I've got this channel called Post Your Links. Ooh, that thin little riser. That was nice. Yeah, there is some tuning stuff in this one, Quirky. There is some tuning stuff. Um, like the lyrics in this one would also be kind of cool just to allow them to kind of peekaboo so you can hear one phrase just kind of clearly as it like hands across the stereo field or something like that. I think it'd feel kind of good. If you don't have more resonance in the filter modulation. And also remember to stagger parameter settings in your ducking schemes so not everything is pumping en masse in unison, because it starts to feel not just repetitive and predictable, but it affects the long-term loudness perception and clarity of the music itself, right? So if you stagger that, it's going to feel a little bit more organic, and it's also going to help with clarity in the mix. Def, check the notes in the arrangement, because there was a little bit of flatness. The detuning is fine because it makes it dark and cool and drags a little bit, but there were a couple of out of tune things there. Chemistry, welcome in. Happy Friday. Serum Bass was a bit of experiment on this one. Yeah. No, I like the detune nature of it. I think there were just a couple of errant notes in there is all. But this right here, the staggering the parameter settings for the ducking, like just load up different compressors and then set them up independently instead of using one compressor to do all the ducking, and it'll probably sound a bit better for you. And I think that's it. It really would be cool to hear like a little drive-by peekaboo those vocals though, just because they're fun. Noise. Great handle, by the way. All right, Noise saying need to layer these chords and add top layer melodies, but man, I'm hyped about this one. Sweet. All right, yeah, one knob. Ricky, get ready, you're up next. Just made it yesterday. Nice. Freshies. Okay, this is great. It's nice and slippery. Central says little dissonant in places. I agree. Um, really, really lovely resonance play. Love the digital appeal of it with the analog kind of noisy synthy thing going on. It's just really nice. Very satisfying palette of ear candy. There is one thing that kind of bumps me a little bit. The sub frequencies in the kick are a little hot, and the sub cutoff is a little low. And if you were to roll up your sub cutoff just a bit, like another 10, 15 hertz, you're going to get more clarity in the middle of your mix, and it's going to show off that sound design a little bit better. So all of that lovely resonance play would really, really pop. Um, that's one of the things that you could do to like really quickly get like a noticeable improvement audibly. Otherwise, I think that this is really, it's just a matter of perhaps sprinkling in just a little bit more variety of ear candy, right? And by that I mean like we've got all of these little twisting and bleeps and bloops and stuff, but what if there was also just like a really super subtle transition effect, right? Like a little, not at the point of a transition or anything, just where it makes sense emotionally, right? Like not compositionally, but emotionally. Just a couple tiny little things like that might push this one over the top, honestly. That's really good. Let's see what people are saying in the chat here. Ooh, great groove. Little dissonant points. Put it on Spotify. Thanks. That's from Chaotic Berserker. Oh, show you dissonant parts. I want to say I was hearing it towards the middle here. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's just in this early, just in the early section, really. Put on Spotify, where the bass isn't lockstep with the melodies, I think. At the beginning of the drum intro, bass. Oh, you guys already tracked this down. That's great. Okay, cool. Off-key, jazz chord extension, microtonal composition, all a matter of perspective. Yeah, you cool cat. Yeah, Blackberry says, I just hear it as some near adjacent frequency interactions in the harmonic resonances between sounds. When you said fic and sub frequencies cut off, what do you mean? Yeah, let's get through that. Okay, so so the kick sub frequencies and the sub cutoff. So here's what I'm hearing. Here's what I'm hearing. I'll just do this visibly for us here. In the kick, I am hearing that there are frequencies that are down here that are pretty fat, and we don't actually need those because you've got a sub. I'd roll that off. The other thing I'd do is I would bring the sub up, like the sub cutoff point itself. Right now, the sub cutoff feels like it probably looks something like this. And what I would recommend is making the dB per octave a little less extreme and rolling this up like a good 20 hertz. And A-B compare that between what you've already bounced and what it sounds like with these cuts in place. And I think that you'll find that this is going to treat your mix better. You're going to have more clarity, loudness, presence, and definition in your mix, which means you're going to be turning to loudness less, right? You won't feel like it's lacking as much because now more energy is being diverted into the recreation of those frequencies and producing them or reproducing them properly. And right now, there isn't enough. Scruffy Rico says, I love the dissonance, to be honest. Couldn't make that. Love it. Triphosphate Music says, or if we do have those, make the sustain on the one subsection of the kick really short and have it multiband duct the sub. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the question is okay, so now only touch the bass, not the kick, or together? Well, it's both, actually. So one is that there is sub presence in the kick that does not need to be there. And then the second is that the frequencies of your sub, they do not all need to be there. I would roll off like 20 hertz worth of those sub frequencies on the sub channel, and then make your dB per octave curve less steep. So it's more forgiving. It's not pushing on the frequencies on the other side of that cut as much. That's another benefit, right? So it's not really like causing any kind of phase stuff here. Blackberry says it's about finding a complementary balancing relationship between both. But there might also be something else in the rest of the mix that is influencing factors. So pay attention to how everything else is reacting. Yeah, absolutely. Usually when I do it, I do it like this. I put it into isolation. I solo it. I do my thing. I put it back into the mix. Right? Turn off the mix, listen to it solo, turn it back on, turn off my changes, turn it back on. I'm doing this fairly rapidly, so my ears aren't getting fatigued, and I'm keeping my perspective, and then I'm just really honest with myself, and I move on. Which one sounded better, right? Which one opened up the mix? We do a dedicated feedback stream on Fridays, and then we do periodic feedback throughout the other streams during the week. Saf, sorry to hear your phone is about to die, but have a good weekend. All right, let's dip into the next one. Ricky, you are up. And Noise, this was solid. This was really solid. I love the concept. I love the manipulation of sound. Like, to me, really, that's what the majority of this was. I mean, it was a vibe for sure, but like the majority of it is just my appreciation of your ability to manipulate the sound the way that you like. Good stuff. Javar. Have fun, dude. All right, Ricky, you up? Empanada. Empanada. Well, now I'm just hungry. Thanks, Ricky. Sounds good, Noise. Thank you for spending your Friday with us. Looking forward to hearing the improved mix. Yeah, Ricky knows what he's doing. I heard a rumor he had a pretty good sound design teacher when he went to school. That's what I heard. Oh. Yeah, Martin, go get him. Good luck in your campaign. Big love, homie. Thanks for the tunes. Oh, man. Oh, look at this. Oh. Ricky, I love all the stuff you make, but this one, this is so good. Chase this. Alex, welcome in. Happy Friday. Ricky, this is great. This is great. This is great. This is really fun. This is really good. Love all the sample mangling in this. And really, honestly, you guys, at the fault, welcome in. Yes, it is feedback. This really is a good example of stopping points, this whole thing. Alex, yes. Oh, wait, hold on. It's almost 1 o'clock. Let's see. Holy crap, we have a lot of stuff to get through. Let's go a little longer. Who's asking? Alex is. Alex, go ahead and drop it. And then we're going to close the queue, and we're going to see how quickly we can get through all these things. All right, Ricky, this is great. Everybody pay attention to the stopping points of the low-end frequency and the kick and the bass. It helps keep everything so tight in the mix. Chef's kiss, Ricky. 123, the meow synth in the back can come up just slightly in the breakdown, but I really like where it is at 145 and right before that, so that is what it is. The vocal mangling is so good. It would be really fun to hear you play with this type of mangling through a tool like Absinthe with the envelopes in there. So much fun. Anyway, some more interest here at 357. It doesn't necessarily begin to drag, but we've been kind of in this state for a bit. So maybe some kind of creative tool like a shaper box, right? Kind of infinite LFO action can help you twist up one of the layers. I don't think you need to go too far in any direction deviation wise. And I'm not sure that you really need to add any new elements to the mix. So I think more manipulation of what is there already would be good. Resequencing. Some resequencing of the arrangement would be kind of fun. It might sit really well with the vocal mangling that's happening. Maybe it could even be like a call and response kind of a thing, where it's like, um, tracks going rock steady, vocals get mangled in a very certain rhythmic kind of way, and now all of a sudden the mix is getting mangled in response, right? It might be kind of a fun thing to do. General creative thing, I think some granular delay would feel really nice in this track in general. Maybe some of the vocal stuff could be creamed out or twisted or whatever in the first half of the song, and then you kind of dip into exploring more and more of the entire arrangement being affected to various degrees. I think it'd be kind of cool. Yes, that old NI synth thing. Thanks, Ithafall. Yes, absolutely. Everything is super well controlled. Absolutely. Um, Triphosphate. Absolutely. Yeah, you can absolutely do it. There's nothing protected here. Oh yeah, and triphosphate. We're on the same level here. Portal. Yeah. Good shout out there. Granular delay. Thinking the same thing here. Blackberry says maybe because I'm tired and I kind of lost interest in this track around the 3 minute mark, mostly because I was tired of the static drum sound. Now, don't get me wrong, the drums sounded great. I just wanted to hear them evolve and morph into a little order. Refocus my ears by the point of the track. Just perceive the drums to be rhythmic pad that no longer seem to be advancing the music, but this is probably a subjective bias of mine. Yeah, this is that's really good feedback. That's really good feedback. That's right around the same part, right? I in the 3 minute mark here, or in the third minute, we I said the same. Like there is need for more interest, and I'm not sure that it has anything to do with the introduction of anything new. Um, but yeah, resequencing, remixing some of that stuff in there, I think, would be a solution for it. Really top shelf stuff, Ricky. Very good. Aquin. All right, this one's called Like You.
In the dark, don't know where this road is leading. I fell hard, and I saw history repeating. Lost my heart, there's nothing that I wouldn't do, wouldn't do. 'Cause I'm not like you. I'm not like you. 'Cause I'm not like you. I'm not like you.
Okay. Um, this song is good. and the arrangement, the palette, and everything is good. The levels are a little off. Um, really like really like the palette though, and how the sounds commingle, and um, feels very good. Feels very, very, very good. Lefts are a bit hot. There's some sub presence in the sides, which you probably want to avoid. The bass level is a little high in general, but especially for it to be in the sides, it kind of dominates the vocals. And since it's peaking louder than the vocals, and the vocals are in the middle and the bass is on the sides, it does kind of leave us feeling a little odd. And this also feels like part of this is just like a compression loudness byproduct, like things have just been squashed and then stuff gets turned up and now it's just a little wonky. So I usually recommend people avoid using a lot of like artificial loudness boosting through compression and extra compression throughout the mixing process for this very reason. BlackBerry could speak to this a million times better than I can. Um, but I think that if you get your volume mix in line and you wrangle in those frequencies, and don't go into your masters hot, and don't aim for such a high LUFS output on the other side of your master, then I think that this whole thing feels really, really good. Like, I don't know that much else needs to be touched in this thing for it to be radio ready. You know what I mean? Like, this is a really good quality song. So that's my feedback on this one. Let's see what other people are saying about this one. That bass will get your attention. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. All right, so people are saying loud bass and stuff, but they do like this. Listening to this for me has been squashed faster, and that is mess with the balance. Yeah, triphosphate. There's a plugin called MSW2 that does multiband stereo manipulation. You might also be able to collapse the subregion into mono that way, but I think that's going to cause phasing instead. Cut the low basses and replace the low end with the simple mono sine wave following the pattern. Yeah. Sounds great on headphones. Will probably be really touch and go in a club with the sub gets summed down. Yeah, exactly. Paul, you take care. Have a great weekend. Aquin says, that's true. I used Ozone 9 for mastering and I raised the levels to a point where it could be loud, but at the same time not distorting. Yep. Yeah, so that's what you need to do is just back off that kind of pushed like that artificial loudness. And keep an eye on the LUFS levels. That's really what it is that you got to pay attention to. The decibel meter really doesn't mean anything at that point. The LUFS. And streaming services start turning it down when it goes above negative 16 LUFS. So negative 15 is louder than negative 16. So as you go down in negative numbers, you are going up in loudness. Vapor Palms! What's up, Alex? How you doing, homie? Oh, dude, Alex, thank you for checking in. Yeah, I am doing quite a bit better. I feel so much less COVID. COVID sucks. That's what I have to say about that. I've got most of my energy back. I'm mostly caught up after being out for a couple of weeks, and then I have been left with some really lovely tinnitus in my left ear and a never-ending headache. So those two things go away soon. But everything else is feeling much better. Thank you for checking. Triphosphate Music says, sometimes when you go into the mastering part and raise levels into a limiter, the relationship between the frequencies can change somewhat. So you may need to go back into the mix and readjust. Yeah, no, this is all in. Yeah, fix the stuff in the mix first. Fix the stuff in the mix first. There are volume level issues, which is why we're reaching this point after the master. That's really what it is go back into the mix, rework the volume levels, and EQ a little bit, right? Subs in the side, get that out, bring down the bass level, but also roll up the sub level on those. Try to adhere to the neg 16 LUFS. It's okay if you go a little bit over. It's just that they're going to turn it down on streaming services. That's all. So, and in some genres, you do need to push a little bit past it to kind of get to the standard of the genre. So feel it out, trust your gut, but make sure that you just wrangle a few things before you send it through that mastering chain again. And keep an eye on the LUFS. Yes, and also, yeah, there are plenty of times where I hear something and I'm like, this sounds great. This sounds great. You don't need to go through the mastering process of this. This sounds great. Oh, Alex, man, yeah, everybody. It finally got us. Like we ran away from it. We avoided it for a few years, and COVID finally got us. Yeah, Nico still got a cough. I got ringing ears, but we'll survive. Triphosphate, you're up. Let's do this. Great name, by the way. War Cry. That's what this track is called. Alex, how are things on your end, dude? How's the new year treating you? All things Ghost Tech, well? Yo! Whoa! Yeah, there's a few things that I want to point out that are really great about this. One, dynamic range. Two, these peaks are like they're feeling really nice, right? And you've got some space to let them all ring out. It's nice. Luffs are a little hot, so definitely check in on that. The transition effect at 21 seconds. I think it would probably help that one moment. The other one seemed really fine. The big old 808 I think can come down a bit, roll up the subs a little bit. The distortion of it can probably come down a little. Um, it's kind of tough to tell without the loudness being addressed first. Dude, the change up at 104. Oh my God, dude, seriously. All right, so loudness being achieved through the maximization, the limiting, the compression, whatever we want to call it. It feels artificial, and the uh, sound design and the delivery of the sounds is impactful enough and very energy driven and focused, and um, it's yeah. I tell people all the time, like, give yourself an opportunity to appreciate the greatness of what you've made before you turn it up. Come back to it after a little while before you turn it up. This one right here, I think it can just kind of come down. Whatever the maximization process is, just back off that. Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about it in the track battle. Like live is live. That's a different thing. But when you're going to share it online, um, right, it just doesn't it won't ever really equate. It's something that was too loud and then turned down by the streaming service, so it leaves you with this thing where you're like, I wish I could get a little bit more from this. Like it sounds fine, but I wish I could get a little bit more. And it doesn't get better when you turn it up because it was already up and it was turned down. You know what I mean? So it's better if you just kind of the stuff that you're uploading. kind of adhere a bit more closely to the loudness standards and stuff. And then when you're live, you do what you do. You got to do. All right, let's see what people are saying about this in the chat. Blackberry says, actually, always when you go into the mastering stage, any dramatic altercation of levels does change the relationship between the freak. At its core, compression is a destructive process that always creates some sort of byproduct that is detrimental to the rest of the music. Yep. It's a very fine line between making things sound better and compounding the issues when using compression, especially once you get past the 4:1 ratios and the neg-B dB of constant compression. Yeah. Triphosphate says, yeah, on the 808, I need to trade some base region for some more sub-regions to overbearing currently. Yeah. Vapor. Yeah, Alex, you're right, man. COVID. Yeah, sooner or later, it'll get all of us. Hopefully, most of us won't get any long-time issues from it. My guitar teacher is still suffering due to long COVID, which he now has like since a year. It's just weird since he always had a pretty healthy lifestyle. Just crazy how different COVID can hit people. Yeah, absolutely. Now we're still not sure if it was COVID, but the January before all the COVID madness started here, I myself and everyone around us was super sick, and it like scarred my lungs. Like it was bad. It was really bad. And I have not been the same since, and that was a few years ago. So now it was before the name COVID had been issued, and we had tests for it and stuff. So there was no way for me to actually get tested at the time. So we don't know. And several of my friends that got sick during that time have all been battling autoimmune stuff since then. I have myself. It's just weird. I think the earliest strains, having just jumped genetically from the animal kingdom to us was I don't know. There's some funky stuff in there. There's some funky stuff in there. That's not good. Do not like. Do not suggest. Do not recommend. All right, Triphosphate says it's very pushed. Have to compete with some really loud tracks. Oh yeah, I already read that. Yep. Also spot on needing to transition to 21 seconds. Cool. 400 as Nadal. Dude, how you doing? It's been a minute. Happy New Year to you. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Blackberry says, so triphosphate is correct. If you're needing to hit a limiter a bunch in mastering, consider going back and tweaking. And Dremia, welcome in, homie. How are you? Chaotic Berserker, you be up. A little stick figure sound redesign. I love it. Oh, I need access. So I'm going to request that right now, Chaotic. And as soon as I get that back from you, then I will play this. And in the meantime, I'm going to play this one from Samsung. Come right back to you, Chaotic. Boogie vibe. Ho ho ho! Man. Snoop thinks so. STP1, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. It's not sure. Happy Friday to you. Everyone coming out today. Sam's like, this is so good. Samsung, I kind of want like a back in the busier funk spots or something. Something kind of push that energy right over the top, make it like party time, you know? Ooh, party sounds. We need some party sounds. A little mixer in the background. Oh, Blackberry. Oh, that was so much fun. Dude, that little roar at the end, that was great. It was worth the wait. The hips are swinging, says Alex. This is just fantastic. I really don't have anything for you to attend to in this one, but I do kind of want some extra happy, clappy, upbeat energy. Theremin Player, welcome in. Happy Friday to you. Like at its peak points, like at its peak busyness points, when the funk is really hitting, like right here. But the second time through. So I guess it would be here. If there was like a, or something like that, I think it would just be like, Anyway. That's all I got for you. Thank you, Samsung. That was really good. Yeah, it was a really fun track, right, Central? All right, did we hear back from Chaotic Berserker? Are you still here, Chaotic Berserker? Yeah, okay. Well, oh, yes, okay, should be good. Excellent. Okay, great. Let's listen to it right now then. All right, so this is a sound design project. A little stick figure redesign. This is from Chaotic Berserker. Get it. Heyo, Chaotic Berserker, are you aware of what I do? Got a DAW called, or a workstation, if you will, called Audio Design Desk. What are you working in when you're syncing sounds to screen right now? Because you've got a lot of really good timing and accuracy. Pro Tools, okay. You on Mac or PC? Mac or Windows? Mac. Okay, cool. Go to add.app. You can get started for free. There's a tool called Audio Design Desk. Get it. Oh, and for everyone else, we will all be starting up regular Audio Design Desk streams again in, I don't know, probably the next couple of weeks. Anyway, the reason why I recommend the tool is because it allows you to trigger stuff in real time. Like as you're watching, it becomes this organic thing where you play the sounds like an instrument almost, and it changes the way you work. It just entirely changes the way that you work. Um, it's pretty darn great. Um, Here's one thing that I would say, like all of your sound design is spot on. I would say create a little bit more separation between the individual elements and use the stereo field just a little bit more dramatically than you are right now. Another thing you might want to consider is something like a binaural panning, right, or a spherical. Um, um, what's the right word here? Sorry, COVID brain is still hitting me every once in a while. Spatial, thank you, brain. Some spatial panning control, right? And the reason why I bring that up, and let's just look at a couple of spots really specifically here. This flash effect here. Okay, so like right here, the ground is lower than the sky, obviously, but the sky is kind of like where I kind of set the benchmark for the atmospheric stuff, right? And the ground down here, that's Gravityville, right? Like this is where your base and your sub and your impact and your surface texture of impact, stuff like that happens. So you can kind of start to divvy up the stereo spectrum in relation to the screen and, for instance, roll off more of the lows in those higher, more atmospheric, airy elements, take out more of the highs in the lower stuff, but leave the surface texture on top to keep it all feeling and sounding intact. There's a few like very subtle kind of nuanced maneuvers that you can engage with to help you create more separation. And then just rapid consumption of stereo space with like, these fight scenes are really fun because you can get way more extreme than what you're seeing in real life, right? You see someone's fist or like a weapon or something come out like this, but in the sound design world, you're going to keep going. You're going to take that sound all the way back here because it gives you more room, more space and time to disclose change over time, right? So you become a bit more dramatic and kind of emblazoned, and when you're making your sweeping moves and stuff, and you'll find that our mind will kind of fill in that gap. Um, I'm going to keep listening because I got a couple other specifics here for you. Okay, so there are a couple things happening with space and sound here. The reverberation of smaller things on a big scale doesn't quite suss out as natural. Respect the gazelle. Thank you so much, Ricky. I appreciate you, homie. Big love. So just tiny little things like that. It's really just down to detail work. Your timing, your sync, your sound design, your sound selection. It's all really on point. It's really really good. I would really focus a lot of your energy right now on how do you create more separation. How do you give things a really specific position in the mix, and consider the finer details. It can be tough with a stick figure, right? You got to kind of read into your own work and really kind of talk yourself through it. And some of it might seem like micromanagement. So also be sure to score some like real life, like live action type stuff too. And it doesn't have to be fight scenes. It could be really mundane. We were talking about this at the top of the stream, actually, at the beginning this morning, was about sometimes it can be better to score to something that's very non-specific, right? To sound design around something that's really non-specific because it teaches you an infinite number of lessons about how to conjure and evoke and trigger and how the sounds engage with us, how we engage with the sounds. And as you get through a little bit more of that, you start to recognize these little nuanced pockets of opportunity of parts of the sounds that you can carve away, just how much you can move something, how rapidly you can move it, and have it be believable. So I would slow this down in playback speed, right, and look at your sync points. Look at those sync points, and then offset any supporting or like sub-layer sound design elements in those sync points. So in other words, if there are two things hitting at exactly the same time on that sync spot and it seems okay, try offsetting one just a little bit so you can actually hear them both. Again, it's more about separation, and now all of a sudden we'll be able to hear with a little bit more full impact those two elements combined, and then you won't feel the need to kind of bolster them more in reverb and compression and stuff, because you'll be able to feel and hear them more clearly. All right, let's do the last bit of this. Oh, right here. There's this big moment, and you traverse a lot of space very quickly, but listen to the sounds here. So we got the impact, right? And it feels more like a down thing. There should be this huge upward rush and like this sound of this expansive opening, right? So movement of air, you could take like a whip or a wish or a swish and stretch it, right? And just open up a filter as you're going with a fair bit of resonance. So just tiny little things. This is really now just about the relationship between of like proximity and velocity and stuff like that with the different characters in play. All right. Let's see what the other people in the chat are saying about all of this. Oh, Heidi's here. Hey, Heidi. But definitely check out Audio Design Desk, and you'll see it here. There's lots of little pro tips we can throw your way as you get started. Phosphate says, when he does the spinning around at high speed, I would almost do like a riser going up and playing with each move to indicate some sort of power up by speeding around. Yeah, COVID brain is weird, right? Because like, I'm fine. I can't remember the word. I was playing with my kid a couple weeks ago when we were actually still kind of sick, and I was like pointing to this block. I was holding this other block. I have a circle thing in my hand, and I pointed to the square thing on the ground. I'm like, hey, can you hand me the circle thing there? And he's like, what? And he's like, looking all over the place. I'm like, the circle thing right there. Are you messing with me right now? He's like, Papa, you're saying the wrong words again. I'm like, oh, dude, this is just me. Oh, the other thing I didn't check for, I didn't even register if there were enough vocalizations in here. Oh yeah, okay. So if there's something that's missing is effort sounds. So I know there's stick figures, but they would still like like that, you know, if there was some kind of impact. So vocalizations, that's good. Don't boost the low end of too much stuff in your final output too. Let's see here. Alex is saying the Cape Flutter, for example, seems to be kind of loud and could use a little volume automation so it gets quieter as the sound progresses. Yep. Yep. Yeah, these are all very small details. Very good stuff. And keep bringing back more. And when I fire the Audio Design Desk streams back up, there will be a whole bunch of ongoing redesign contests, and you'll have a chance to bring stuff in and stuff off and stuff and learn. Central 1, let's do this. All right, Central says, hello, the song has a ton of issues, but I'm working on an EP that's pop EDM now. Hey, jazz EP on hold till I get vocals back. Fair enough. I'm going to be learning to sing in the coming future, so this shit is avoided. Love my ass. For this first song, I'd really like if anyone had an idea on how to do this composition in a more unique way, rather than just a respace and some chords. Acapella is also temporary. Alex, remember that, Chris. Always give COVID guilt. You're not getting older and more forgetful. It's just COVID.
I'm here with an open heart. My shirt is floating with the wind. I'm far away where no one else is. I'm broken, left in scars. With 90 piece, I watch the moon when it gets dark. I think I'm falling again, dreaming of crying again. Looking at faces is hard. I'm betting on you to be saved. I just went all in again. Maybe this time I won't be lost. So show me, son. And if you can, look through the windows of my eyes. Just tell me I'm okay.
Take care, Black Ray.
Cause I can't find my way out. I've been longing for better days. A better place where I won't leave. Oh, let me run away. Run away to the lake. Wash away the pain I kept for too long. Maybe it's a plan that I don't know. I know it's been long since we first met. Tell me why.
Coder Tuesday.
I keep my secrets for years and I mean it. The trust I put in you, the love I put in you. Please keep my name in good thoughts when you hear it. Till I run away, I'll run away. So show me, son. And if you can, look through the windows of my eyes. Just tell me I'm okay. Cause I can't find my way out. I've been longing for better days. A better place where I won't leave. Oh, let me run away. Run away to the lake.
Ah. Oh, Central, this is good, dude. I hear what you're saying about the respace. I don't know, movement maybe. You know, yeah, like complex filter modulation movement. You know what I'm saying? Not like complex, like super tricky, just complex, like plenty of change over time. It could be in lockstep rhythmically. It could kind of play a bit off of the rhythms of the other things at that point, the synths and whatnot. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna think on this one, but man, when it goes all central in here, I think it's on lock. I feel like you're probably only really feeling this about that first segment, right? Um, Well, Heidi, we missed you, but hey, you're here now. So yeah, I like it too, cardio. I like it too. I don't really have a whole lot of anything to say in regards to what needs to be worked on or anything. My chat completely disappeared inside of OBS while that song was playing. There was like this wicked sub hit, and the chat knocked out at the same exact moment, and I was like, "What just happened?" I had to switch to my browser to make sure I was still with you guys. I was like, "What did you just do to my chat, dude?" Yeah, I hear you about the respace. Now my mind is going to chew on this for the next day, I bet. But like my gut says some kind of complex modulation, carving out the. Yeah, when the music is so good it crashes your OBS, but not your stream. All right, not sure. You're up. All right, so not sure saying a very bloated project from 2019 that I've been trying to retool finish for a while now. It's a weird one, and I still don't know how much I want to keep versus scrap. All right, well, let's see if we can help. Yeah, me too, Alex. Yeah, not sure. Do not scrap this one. This is good. Okay, so in regards to helping you decide whether or not to keep or scrap this one, definitely keep it. Don't scrap it. Finish it. There is a big technical thing that you need to fix here, and that is that it actually ends there at like the 4 minute 24 second mark. I don't know if you noticed that, but it kind of stops. It was good, dude. I want it to keep going. Is what I want. I love the digital textures. I love the chaotic nature. I think, a little more detuning in the synths when it's not going all crazy step sequence digital kind of. I kind of want more. Like I picked up on it immediately. So did Alex. It's like a glitchy Board of Canada kind of feel at points. And if you leaned into that just a little bit more, I think it's like, whoo, yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so see, so I'm not the only one that noticed this. Kakashi noticed it as well. Yeah, really brutal that it ends. Pretty critical miss, honestly. Track is dope. Sounds like a crazy portal effect. I like it. Yeah, it's yeah, definitely finished, says Ricky. Um There's just a lot on the glitchy textures and the vocal that I feel like are just completely overworked at this point. You know what that translates to me? And I'm pretty sure I've probably said something to the effect about this in the past, so I hope this all comes across the right way. But you probably spend a lot of time with your stuff, and to you, it might seem overworked. But to everyone else who's hearing it for the very first time, is hearing all of the glory, glory, glory that you created, and thank goodness you hit save on, because it's just as good as when you were pouring hours into it. It hasn't changed. Hasn't changed. Still just as good. Very, very good. Definitely finish this one. I like how you say that, Alex. First time hearer here. On the real, though, so Kakashi says, on the real, though, I advocate for never scrapping a track, whether you love it or not. You never know when you'll want to go back. Some of my least favorite tracks became astonishingly good to me after sitting in my archive for a year or two. Or I went back and grabbed a segment that I loved or something. Yeah, yeah. Ricky was about to ask how many times have you listened to it? Yeah. It's not sure says mix wise it just feels a little lacking. Glad y'all disagree, I guess. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. And Ricky says, yeah, because it's totally a keeper, and I would agree with that. Sometimes, oftentimes, we get really close to the stuff that we make. I think to Blackberry's point earlier in the chat about it's kind of a shame to see so many people nowadays doing the ideation and the production, the composition, the mixing, and the mastering, right? And all the sound design. Um, but I like it, so you know, it is what it is. We get very close to our stuff. Long story short, dude, this is great. This is great. Um, oh, and lastly, my last comment on this would be that the small detuned sine synth, the really simple one that comes in at 230 and just kind of meanders, it'd be so cool to explore voicing with that. It would be a really simple play, right? It's just like increasing the voicing and then playing with the spread of the voicing and the detuning of the voicing, and it'd be a really fun and cool thing to follow while all of the busy digital textures are still kind of carrying on with their normal business. It's something to kind of think about, I guess. Oh, respect that, Gazelle. Thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate you. You guys, and all the freaking subs today, and the hype trains and stuff. Oh, great. Rich says, I always post my tracks on YouTube in a quick fashion. It's my scrapbook, really. Yeah, there's something to that. All right, up next is better. Let's do this. Little thing I've been working on for a scoring competition. Would love some advice on improving the mix, spicing it up to make it stand out more. All right, let's do this. I'm actually going to go full screen on this one. A heaviosity competition. Oh, redacted. This is you. All right. All right. Alex, for you, yes, we're going to go over today. We're going over by a bit. We were supposed to stop like 40 minutes ago. We're going to finish what's in the queue here. Go ahead and drop it. I'll be productive later. Okay, I think one of the best ways that you could start to work on improving this thing would be to just kind of get it in line with the more modern sound design approach. So we've got the music composition part of this down. So now what we need to do is go back through this and think a bit more like a sound designer. And I'm not saying sound designer in the sense of I make the sounds in my song. I'm talking sound designer as in the person whose job it is to put sounds into the timeline to bring a scene to life. So here's what's different mentally in a lot of the thought processes than a composer, musician, producer, sound designer versus a for-screen sound designer, and that is layering. Like, if you want to really drive a scene, layering, like, I'm not going to say like 9 out of 10 times, but more often than not is going to be the thing that gets you out of whatever you're stuck with. So I'm going to point out a couple specific things and then let your mind kind of run with this. Move up to the stairs. Okay, he's running. And stairs are here. Okay, so between 45 seconds and him starting to run at 30 seconds. Let's go just a bit before. We're going to listen. It's 15 seconds. As that scene changes, there should be a transition effect, right? And there should be an impact, like a hit, okay? So if there's enough tension in the scene to justify it, we should also add a tension builder, which would be a riser. So let's just go back and look at the 3 seconds before it changes. Okay, yeah, so there's room for a rise, a transition, and a hit there. And as soon as you start to add stuff like that, your mind, your mental state and your workflow are both going to shift dramatically, because you're going to have this aha moment that's like, of course, I have music sound design in place here, but I don't have traditional sound design in here. And oftentimes when you think about music that has kind of a cinematic appeal or ethos to it, a lot of times you're kind of commingling a lot of the traditional cinematic sound design elements and psychoacoustics and stuff, and that's really what kind of builds that up. So here's what I would say. Add a really short form rise to hit with a transition effect, like a little sweep, swell, swoosh in there, maybe even a whoosh. Now, as he's running down the street, let's think about the emotional impact of the scene. Boom. Boom, right? Like between these, they're not quite Brahms, they're just kind of like the kind of low synth horn hits, right? So, but between those, you could stagger with some impacts, right? You roll off the top end, you keep your sub rumble in there, so it's this dramatic emotional impact. All right, so we're going to go on to the next scene where we go up the stairs. But how do we increase the intensity? Boom, right here, another transition and a hit. So the hit, you sync with this bottom stair, with this foot leaving the bottom stair, or his first foot hitting the bottom stairs. He like runs up the next, up to the next flight. That's where you're going to layer in a second rhythmic, like something that's going to drive the rhythm at a greater intensity. It doesn't have to be more complex, but it has to be more intense. Sticks, clack, 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 right? Maybe a hit as he reaches the next flight of stairs, right? Each landing that he hits, boom. Maybe another rhythmic element comes in. So something clicky clacky, like sticks on the side of a taiko, and then boom, he hits the landing, there's a hit. It ratchets up even more, right? You add one more thing. Maybe this one is actually a taiko hit, and maybe it's like on the ones or something. So now you've got clacky, 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 boom, clacky, 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 boom, on top of all the rest of the rhythmic stuff, right? Gets to the next flight, and there's all of a sudden, there's going to be another riser because he's about to go through this door. So there's tension. There's something about to happen, which means the riser leads to a transition. You got it. And then a hit, and then boom, out to the rooftop. And I'll let your mind kind of take it from there. But that's really like the next logical progression of this, because you can incorporate these elements into music and it still stands up. It improves the emotional impact of the music, right? So that all of that, what you might be thinking right now is like extraneous or unnecessary or sprinkles, kind of sound design layered on top. When you embed that in the music, it becomes more of a soundtrack cue. So let's just go through and see what people are saying here. Yeah, right. Good product placement on the Microsoft logo. Yeah, I treasure the Sonic scraps, Heidi and Kakashi. I'm just reading your ongoing chain here. Redacted says, totally agree. The catch is I can use a certain 5 free Heaviosity instruments. Oh, okay. So that's where your creativity comes in. Exactly. You make a riser out of one. You make an impact out of the other, right? You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Just get creative. You could totally do this. And the folks at Heaviosity will really appreciate your creative, like out of the box, in the box problem solving. Can you add Foley to it, or does it need to be strictly music? That's a good question. I would assume that it's probably just their instruments that they're wanting you to, since it's their petition. This is good, though, Redacted, and bring more of this kind of stuff by. I don't know if you were here when I was saying it, but I'm going to be firing up the Audio Design Desk live streams again here soon, and you should be attending those. Alex, this one's called Safe and Sound. All right, so Alex is saying, so this is my band's first ever single. We are Secret City Souls. We are a pop punk band from UK. The artwork and lyric video was made by me. All right. You bet, Redacted. You bet. Absolutely. Anytime. Well, since this one has a video, I'm going to go ahead and full screen this. Move my notes over.
Fix up, I need a fix up, we need a pick up, I'm in my head. Help up, I need some help up, I need some help up, I need a friend. Once again, let go, wanna let go, wanna let go, I'm on the edge. Oh no, I said oh no, I said oh god no, I'm here again.
Oh boy. Okay, so that was fun. That was quite good. Got some notes here. It'd be great if the vocals were just a little bit more on top. I should start this by saying that was freaking awesome. Like I agree with everything being said in the chat right here. It makes you feel 10 years younger. It's just awesome. It's really, really, really good energy. The two things I think that hold it back from being like, wow, this is so fucking incredible, is the vocals being just a little bit more on top of the mix and a little bit more aggressive active compression on the drums with a little bit more saturation on them, and that would give them a little bit more fullness and movement and energy, because you would be, affecting the volume levels more over time of delivery of the drums. So, and then the saturation would kind of give all of that some extra. Really, really, really good guitar tone. I mean, really good guitar tone on this. Very solid track all the way around. Um, and also, I really appreciate this video. I really, really do. I really like this video. It's got something awesome about it, and it's not just the art and lyrics. It's like how the music and all of it kind of very satisfying, all of it. And the scream. And I saw this mention from Kakashi in the chat saying, "Good scream. I'd love to let that lead into the final chorus a bit, either holding it out or a delay or something." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Alex agrees, and I agree, and Ricky agrees. Yeah, very good. Very good. I bet a lot of people have said that. It's really good. It's really, really solid. Very good stuff. I'm super glad you brought this one by. As Nadell, you're up. All right. 986. I don't know what to name this. It's a good name. I like it. Oh. 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 Okay, there's a few things here, a few things to attend to. But first, can we just say, frickin', yeah, you've been a little busy since we've last seen you, and you've had some really good ideas. I see. That sub drop right in the middle, or right in the beginning. Just, I'd roll up the sub cutoff on this to 45 hertz. It's the first thing I'd do. It sounds like you can save a good 15 hertz worth of energy, and that it feels like way more than 15 hertz of energy when it's redistributed to the middle of your track. That vocal that's hiding in there is amazing. Like, I was having these little, like, I don't know, like White Lotus feelings with this. It was, okay, all of that said, EQ, just EQ. low end. I already mentioned that, the roll off the cutoff. I would take a look at your decibel per octave curve in a couple of your EQ assignments. There are a couple of elements that were like mid-low to low elements, but their low end felt a little bloated, a little fat. The next thing is the filters. So filter sweeps, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, when you've got resonance up on a filter and you sweep across the frequencies and it sounds great, that's fine. But if it scrapes across the lowest frequencies, not so fine. And there were a couple of moments where I felt like there was this random like sweep of frequency bloat down low. It's usually indicative of a quick filter sweep. So you might want to go back and take a look at your filter modulations and make sure that you don't have the resonance up when the cutoff is down. And if you do, just automate that. Just automate the resonance as you automate the filter cutoff knob. The only other thing is double check EQ in your reverb channels. There were a couple of spots where I thought like you could shave a little bit off the highs or a little bit more off the lows. That's it. Like really, it's like this nitpicky EQ stuff, man. This is so good. Yeah, this is great. Low end roll off counter 1. Kakashi, that's because you weren't here earlier. All right, let's see. Let's see what we've got here. We've got Cash Cole, we got Alex. Guys, think about who you want to go raid, because after these two, we're gonna go do that. All right, Cash Cole says, looking for mixing advice. First song I mix for vocals, plus advice on anything. And as an adult, dude, seriously, more, please. And thank you. Freaking brilliant. Love it. Seriously.
The plug shit, the dumb shit, the dumb hoe, the stupid bitch. Gang with me right up in the stoop. Bitch on smoke, that bitch on smoke. Yeah, I don't need no more shit, kinda wet though. Yeah, hold on, yeah, hold on, yeah, smoking on 3-5 wood, bitch my dope exquisite. Bad bitch give me head, bitch exquisite. Fucking on the bitch right now, I swear, pussy exquisite. Ran to the racks like damn, exquisite. Living my life on edge, I did it real. These niggas be too fair, let's get it. Step out and ball main, step out bang, step out drill. Step out and ball main, step out bang, step out drill. Step out and ball main, step out bang, step out drill. Knew that hoe one, I know real shit. Smoking on that dope, it make my lungs going quick. I fuck that hoe and then I did. Okay, he talk down, he get spilled. Sipping codeine, man, I cannot fucking spill. Tell me what is real. I wake up, thank God, and then go pop a pill. I wake up, thank God, and then go make a meal. Damn. Yeah. Running to them racks like you saying, I can't come in last. Once I for this hoe, she finished first, and then I finish last. Fuck high school, bitch, I almost had failed the class. I was making his bitch, ain't get fucked by that. I hit 5 positions, I know my ex lit it. Fuck this hoe so good, I damn near turned her to a gymnast. Smoking on exotic, they say, Vonnie, you a chemist. Once I mix that walkie with that Fago, bitch, I'm sipping. You never had a bitch pull up to you on some free shit. You never had the cup in that lean on some geek shit. You never had exotic packing weed in that blunt, nigga. You never had, you never had a bitch pull up to your crib on some free shit. You never had these niggas switch up on some geek shit. You never had that walk in that cup on some, yeah. I'm so awesome, bitch, I ball. Wake up, walking no more. I thank God for the day. fuck on some hoe. Put that shit up in your kidney. These niggas can't feel me. Smoking real weed, smoking on some real tree. I got Bobby on me, she wanna do some with me. Seem like Bobby homie, she wants some my I won't make it too long, but I might just had to get you. He ran just like Ricky, then I shot his back and hit him. He ran just like Ricky, I had Gango go and get him. I had Gango go and split him. Like, no BK the ruler, 556 in his medulla. No BK the ruler, 556 is gon' have do you. Sneezing on the racks, I'm like, goddamn, I might hot chew you. Okay, with Sosa, say hit him with the Hadouken. Bitch, I'm up in NYC, I'm smoking Lady Liberty. Told her call me John, once I fuck her, I ain't seen a thing. Told her call me Bill, I'ma fuck her like she Hillary. I count the blue bills, I need exquisite amenities. Still, I might, kidding me. You ain't even game, pussy boy, you is not kidding me.
All right, here's what I got for you. The LUFs are a little hot all the way through. Nice rate on the auto tune. I would roll up your sub frequencies to 40 hertz. Right now, it feels like it's hitting below 30 hertz a lot. Less low frequencies in the side. You've got your ARPs and whatnot, and it's just kind of busy out there. So I'd take a little bit out of the mids, a bunch out of the lows on the sides. Less mid frequencies in the bass. I would also turn it down a bit. It's competing with the vocals and making it hard. When the bass dips out, you can hear the vocals get audibly louder and more clear. I would EQ both the delay and the reverb channels in the project so you don't have any extra low frequencies coming through. And then more variation in the vocal delivery. I think it's just as important as variation in the arrangement. And right now it's a pretty steady kind of like monotone delivery, but it's not just that the tone is rock steady, it's that the cadence and everything is really, really not flat, but just really, really steady. So if there was more inflection and more energy changing, more accenting, dropping down a little bit, and some of that can just be how you move as you're delivering vocals, right? Like how you're engaging with the microphone. Some of it can be through compression, right? Which is like volume automation. So just a couple of ways that you could get a little bit more variation in the vocals as it is right now, but in the future, like during the actual recording, just becoming a little bit more animated, and yeah, just more change over time. That's all. Let's see what other people saying. Kakashi says, I kind of want the vocals to have more of a pulse. The plosives feel a little squished. Harmonizers and occasional doubles is a good way to add pulse to a more... Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. 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 That's a really good point, Kakashi. All right, Alex, we got one here. Get it. This one's called Get It. Alex says, staying on the chill and lo-fi kind of style, but more dark and mysterious this time. So far, I'm kind of satisfied with it generally. Open for any suggestions. The outro is very abrupt, so definitely going to work on that for sure. Yeah, dude, the vibrato on that bass is nice. Um, I think there's some room for a little texture play here, right? And I think it could serve as a really nice like interest agent through this, right? Because there's a couple of points in the track where pretty steady Eddie's rock solid hasn't changed for a bit, which can feel like it's dragging to some, right? But I really like it because I think this has a lot of sync value, right? It's got a lot of licensing value in it because it is so minimal and kind of withdrawn and kind of understated, right? It's got like that perfect kind of background music balance, right? Which means that you can play with textures and noise and stuff in creative ways, right? Like, for instance, if you had a dusty saturation over the top of this entire thing, right, you could swell that in a couple of spots and it would feel freaking rad, right? Another thing you could do is just like as just sprinkle in ear candy, playing with noise and texture and stuff. You could do very small swells, you can do little reversals, you can do quick little stutters, and then moving those across the stereo field in just a little bit of space can have a really nice, satisfying effect. And it doesn't have any major impact on the composition, the arrangement, right? It's not putting anything else tonal into the mix that could be tricky to work around if someone's putting vocals or dialogue or something like that over the top. But it would still give you something that the audience is gonna, appreciate and identify with. Last thing is just saturate the bass a little bit. I think it's sitting a little bit under the radar when the full mix is hitting. Yeah, a little harmony action would be nice. Heidi, I see that on display constantly right now with Nico. She's saying, I feel like, when you're a kid and you go to someone's house and you're having fun and it's time to go, but there are all these things you can say and do to stay longer. It's kind of what's happening. Yeah, I feel that, Kakashi, the counterpoint medley. Yep. Melody, yeah. Alex, this is nice. This is good stuff. Yeah, big potential for infinite loop track as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all I got for you on this one. And that's all we got for this stream. Now, Heidi tossed out an idea for some raid action here. Let me just refresh the browser here and see who's on. Because I do like that idea. Heavenly. I don't think I've checked out Heavenly, but if... Oh, okay. I just had to check and see if cardio was up. Let's go check out Heavenly and see what Heavenly is all about, because I don't know that I've visited them. Drimia, thank you. You're awesome. Ricky, see you next time, homie. Always really good to have you in the mix. Thank you so much for everything. I'll see you guys again on Monday. We're probably going to start a little bit late, probably like 11 a.m. instead of 10:30 a.m. Pacific, just because of meetings and stuff. But I will see you guys on Monday. We'll do a little mix of production and listening to what you guys upload. Over the weekend, I challenge you to scroll through the image prompts channel here and grab at least one image, download it, write something around it, make something that you're inspired to make after looking at the image, and then come back into community uploads and post that image and whatever you made while you were feeling inspired. And we will listen to it together, come out the other side of the weekend. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the flip. Oh, and don't forget, you've got free sound packs to download if you are subscribed to the channel, so go hit those. 500 dialogue samples. Not a bad deal. Peace out, y'all.